Laid the week for this Anchors Away, but we're getting right to it. Want to talk about some things that bubbled up during the week and some of the things that may be bubbling up over the weekend, and a story that we covered this week that'll probably stretch into next week. First thing we're going to talk about is the Gillette commercial that came out earlier this week. It's been out for a while. Not even sure it's hit air, but it's caused a lot of controversy. We'll talk about that. Also want to get some of the things that happened because of the government shutdown. Big announcement coming up on Saturday. And then want to talk about a school fight. There was one caught on video, a story that we've been covering, and between two young ladies. Some of the things there might surprise you. But to the Gillette commercial, first I want to say welcome to our panel. Ashley Ketz, Chief Meteorologist Keith Monahan. Guys, thanks for joining us again.
Sure, Bob, you didn't give me a choice, but I'm here.
There's no choice. The Gillette commercial, you guys have heard folks talk about this.
The best a man could get, right?
Have you seen it, Ashley?
I finally watched it today.
I refuse.
Really? You haven't seen it?
I've not seen it.
It's a short film, so you need to carve out a few minutes.
At a little bit of it right now.
Okay.
It is a short film.
Bullying.
The Me Too movement against sexual harassment.
Masculinity.
Is this the best a man can get? Is it? We can't hide from it.
Sexual harassment is taking over.
It's been going on far too long. We can't laugh it off.
Who's the daddy?
What I actually think she's trying to say.
Making the same old
So we're kinda
excuses.
getting the picture
But something finally
that they're putting out there that basically men are being men and they're being men to, a farther degree than they should be.
Toxic masculinity.
Toxic masculinity. And when I kind of saw this, I was like, well, yeah, you don't want men to be, pigs.
Of course
Certainly.
not. Yeah.
There's no tolerance for that. You don't want them to be, a derogatory to women at all.
Predators.
And things like that. But Ashley, I got to get your response. What was your response?
Well, I just saw it today for the first time. I've heard everyone talking about it, and they're trying to make a moral message here, and it is an advertisement, but it has caused so much controversy. I feel like the message has almost gotten lost in translation because so many people are outraged over this. But in a way, I don't see a lot wrong with it because it's not a dig at masculinity, at men being men. It's a dig at men who are abusers, men who have raped women, or it's men who have bullied even other men. So that's the message they're trying to get across. But as a mom, I don't have a son, so I can't say, really I can't say a lot. But if I had a son, I'm not going to rely on some commercial to teach them about, morality. So
they should just stick to selling razors. I mean,
yeah.
It's a company. It's not a cultural.
I understand the point, and Ashley's absolutely right. I mean, men should do the right thing, but sometimes being a man is being tough, and providing for your family and protecting your family. I don't think we want to
smacking down men who aren't being respectable.
What if there's always going to be a bully, no matter how many commercials you run or how many social justice warriors are screaming. The world is full of buttholes. They're never going to change, and you need strong people, men and women, to stand up against those people, or else you're going to surrender everything. So, I mean, it can be taken too far, and I think we're afraid to be men. We're afraid to act like a guy.
Well, it wasn't.
But we don't want to also allow people to take advantage of other people.
Right. It wasn't too long ago that Gillette had an ad campaign, and I believe this was at a motorsports competition. Take a look at this photograph, this advertisement plan out there. A bunch of women with Gillette on their derrieres. So this is kind of the other side of that.
Yeah, how hypocritical a company is this to at one point put Gillette all over probably a very visible spot for men being men to buy their razors, and then complain about the guys doing the very thing that they made them do to buy their razors.
And I think Chief Keith's initial reaction to this photograph looked a little something like this. But anyway, that's
Cheers.
That was at the
Little Bear.
Little Bear,
the
Colorado.
rowdiest mountain bar in the state of Colorado. That's water. That was water in there because we were driving around the mountains. But Bob, your name was well known in that establishment.
I spent plenty of time in Little Bear in Evergreen, Colorado.
Evergreen, Colorado.
Back in my younger days when I was a construction worker. And we were all very respectful construction workers, just to let you know. But at any rate, Gillette's going to be talked about for some time. I want to talk about the government shutdown. Guys, some interesting things happened on that this week. Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi sent a letter to the president saying it's a good idea for you to postpone your State of the Union address because of security reasons. He fires back and says, guess what? I'm canceling your trip to Brussels and to Afghanistan.
Well, then there's more now, and she's saying
what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, a lot of people, just to be blunt, a lot of people have always said, we need to get politicians out of Washington. And here we have Trump, the very antithesis of a politician, and everybody is up in arms. Of course, you get a guy in there like that who is not going to play by the bureaucratic rules, is going to make waves, and is going to make for noisy government. I mean, noisy government is also good in democracy. And I know a lot of people may be set back right now because of the government shutdown. I know a lot of good friends, the National Weather Service, they're federal employees, they're working without pay. Wow. But they can collect unemployment at the same time. Not a perfect solution. And they're also going to get their pay back. And I know it's difficult for now, but you know, when I was in Houston, I got fired and was out of work for four months. And probably cost upwards of $25,000, $30,000 to my family.
You
wiped out our
weren't
savings.
You weren't going to get anything back.
I wasn't getting anything back. I'm not saying that was a good thing, but I'm just saying it'll work out in the end. And you know, both sides.
And it is unfair.
It's unfair for those people caught in the middle.
For everyone that's caught in it, really.
I just wish that they would get together, pass a resolution to pay the federal workers. And unfortunately, because of a constitutional amendment that was resurrected from the 1700s, that was just passed in the last decade, Congress can't have their pay changed during their tenure. They should change that. Congress should not get paid either.
I was going to say, you know, I had hoped that a lot of Congress members would say, guess what? Zero pay for me too. Federal workers aren't getting paid. We shouldn't be getting paid. And if they are getting paid, they should be there every day trying to hash this thing out.
Yes.
Going to be an announcement on Saturday. We're shooting this on Friday. What do you think the announcement from the White House is going to be on Saturday?
Gosh, I mean, a lot of people, I guess, have of course speculated that there could be some kind of executive order to go ahead and fund some type of border wall. You know, I don't know. What were we talking about earlier?
That's what I'm thinking, that he'll come out and he'll say, you know what, executive order, I'm going to fund the wall through funds we either found or that that the president can use his discretion, and then he's going to go, let's go ahead and vote, get these people back to work, and he'll say, I've done it all. Democrats sat idly by. That's one thing.
Right. I mean, it would be a political win.
Or he can come out and say, I'm not using Gillette razors anymore.
Yeah. Unless you live along the southern border with Mexico, I don't think people realize how much is going on down there. The number of people coming across the border. We've got our own homeless. We've got our own, you know, hungry kids.
So many
We've got
people
struggling families in America that we need to take care of first before we extend our helpfulness elsewhere. And any doctor will tell you, like, if you know, take care of yourself before you can take care of others. The only way, I think, to stop this basically unbridled surge to the United States is going to be with some kind of, it could be a wall, could be a fence, it could be any number of things to check the, you know, the unchecked flow of people in, because ranchers down there have said, you know, they found, you know, things that terrorists would be using.
Well, they found a bunch of prayer blankets, you know, things like that.
So it's not just Latin Americans coming in. People flock to Central America, and then they know they just have to take a quick trip across the border.
I want to mention real quick, French Hill, Congressman French Hill did not take pay.
Okay.
Well, good for him.
So he stepped up to do that, and there may be others. I'm just not aware.
Yeah, and there needs to be 434 other ones that come out and say the same thing until this is resolved.
Well, we'll find out what's going to happen over this weekend. We'll be talking about it next week. Then this week there was a school fight in a Sheridan cafeteria. I'm not sure if this was high school or middle school. Why don't you take a look at some of this video?
Hey, let's go, let's go.
So the basic details on this is that a couple of girls decided they were going to beat up another girl they had a disagreement with, and this all went down in the cafeteria. Part of the concern was from the girl's mom that no school officials were there to step in This thing went on for some time. The schools got it under investigation. They're not responding. Keith, one thing that shocked me, and often it's not what you don't see that raises an antenna.
Right.
What I didn't see, and again, I wasn't there, I don't know the circumstances surrounding this entire thing, but I didn't see any, when we go back to the young men issue, I didn't see any young men stepping up saying, guys, ladies, stop this. And I didn't see a lot of, of course, one of the issues is no school officials, but that's being worked out. But I didn't see a lot of people saying, stop the fighting. Yeah. Or step up there. And
what
and
about
I know
the person
I saw
videotaping the thing?
Right. I saw a couple of young boys looking in the window, and I'm thinking, why are you running in there and going, stop?
And I think that video went on for about a minute. So especially,
Or the other ladies at the school.
Yeah.
If I were that mom, this is a violation of Arkansas law. Her daughter suffered an assault/battery, and she should go to court. You know what? The school does not have its own little bubble that it can operate. It is subject to state laws and local laws. Get those kids. You file a police report with whoever, the county sheriff, Sheridan Police Department, wherever this occurred, and you file charges. Her daughter was assaulted.
She was attacked.
Attacked.
Basically.
Battered.
Well, you could see the hair. I mean, pull the hair out of her.
If school officials aren't going to step up,
solve anything.
No, I mean, something similar happened where my daughter went to school. And the school's response is, well, we're going to keep this internal. That does not look like a situation that should be internal to me. That looks like a crime that happened to that young girl. And the kids should be charged.
I mean, it would go through the juvenile court system.
But I mean, if we're we're sitting here talking about don't be toxic masculinity, but we're not holding people accountable for their actions.
Given the cultural temperature these days, I could see probably some young men standing back and saying, you know what, I don't want to go in there and try to break this up because then I'm going to get accused of something.
See?
And that's kind of a backlash of that.
Dangerous web we weave.
Yeah. I mean, you would like to think that a young man would step up and just get in there and say, ladies, break this up. This is wrong.
Right.
Rather than say, hey, I don't want to get involved because, I could get in trouble.
Mother believed it was premeditated, so the friends who were on maybe one of the girls' side, knew this was going to happen, and
so that's when someone should have stepped up at that point and said, no, guys, we can't do this.
Exactly. It's troubling. It's troubling. We go through all this effort of anti-bullying campaigns, yet this happens. The school doesn't do anything.
Well, it makes the school look bad.
It makes the school look bad. You know what? This happens in schools all over across the country, but look at the Parkland in Florida. Yeah. I mean, that kid had a troubled history for years, and he just slipped under the radar because, we don't want the school to get a bad reputation. Take care of the bad kids, because there are some, and your school will have an okay reputation.
Well, again, and that's where then you get the whole mental health thing. It's like, find out what's troubling these kids, help them, find their way and make sure everything's okay. Well, guys, thanks very much for joining us again. I want to thank you very much for clicking on Anchors Away this week on KRK.com. Certainly hope you have a great week. We will see you next time on Anchors Away.